All right. We now welcome on a very special guest. It's the Ravens offensive lineman, Bradley Bozeman. Thanks for hopping on with us, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
All right. We want to start out with a little bit of a lifestyle question. How was the transition away from RV life, and how's it been for you and the family so far?
Oh, it's been beautiful. It's been really nice. We loved RV. It was so much fun. We met so many people. Such a new and unique experience. But it was nice to once we found a house that we liked. It was too good to pass up. Get into it and getting settled. It's been nice to have a little room to stretch your legs and let the dogs run in the backyard. Whenever my wife's mad at me, I can go in the other room or whatever I need to do. But it's been really nice being out of an RV and into a home.
And we wanted to bring that up because you and your wife, you're taking it across the country, and it was for a great cause, advocating against bullying. So let our listeners know all about that and kind of the message you guys were trying to get across.
Yeah. So, for as far as our campaign goes, we went cross country. We went from started in Maryland and then went to Alabama, Georgia, Texas, out to California, and then came back and got shut down by COVID. But we got to speak to, I believe it was 14 out of the 18 stops that we had planned. And something that we had found is, no matter it was Maryland or Texas or California, rich, poor, big, small, whatever it may be, everyone still had all the same problems. Social media, it was fights, and just the social media stream was a really big part of it. But we got to go out and talk to all these kids and got to really experience and see what the world was like with these different kids in different states. I think we're at about 100,000 plus kids that we have spoken to so far. Done it in I think 27 different states. Hopefully one day we can get to all 50. But it's been a really life-changing thing for us. To be able to have these opportunities to go and talk to these kids. Obviously with COVID, we're not able to get into schools like we were before, but, we're doing a few social media platforms and, different ways for kids to reach out, whether it's via social media, via email, whatever it is. But now we have transitioned into food insecurities. And so Nikki and I have partnered up with Nourish Now and a couple other sponsors, and we have been able to do food insecurities every other week in downtown Baltimore. And doing about 20,000 meals at each drive. So it's been a great transition for us to be able to still be involved in our community and to try to make a difference in these hard times that COVID has brought on so many people.
That's awesome. That story, along with your play on the field, I think has really helped put you on the map as a fan favorite here in Baltimore, which is a pretty cool story for a guy who was a 6th-round pick just 3 years ago. That's a story I find really interesting because you were a big-time player on the best team in the country at Alabama, but you were a relatively under-the-radar prospect. Do you remember why that ended up being the case?
So I think a lot of the problem was that people thought I was a system guy. People thought that I wasn't necessarily a good individual player, but I fit it into a scheme and just made it work. But I've always tried to myself on trying to be the best on the field, trying to win every block I have, being physical, being dominant, and just being the best version of myself, no matter what other people say. I was apparently an overachieving college center that wasn't going to make it in the NFL. And, I strive every day to get better and better. And, hopefully I can be one of those big guys, talked about in the upper guards and interior linemen in the league. So, just continue to work every day and just try to make my craft better and better. And just don't let yesterday affect me and just push forward to tomorrow. So.
Yeah, we can definitely relate. We always have people telling us that we're system bloggers and podcasters, and we're fighting against that all the time. But I mean, that 2018, that was a super interesting year because, you have Flacco still in the picture. You have your fellow rookie in Lamar who kind of represented the future of the team. What's one thing that you remember kind of looking back on as, a thing that you remember about that training camp in 2018?
I just remember it was hot. I remember it was really hot. For me, I'm being from Alabama. I'm going north. I'm going north, so it should be cold all the time. But yeah, I do remember that. I remember it was being hot. Just so much information, so much knowledge that I had to learn. And as kind of the season developed, you realize what kind of system we were moving towards, as far as the read options and different things of that nature. But it was just you saw the progression and transition. When Joe went down and Lamar came in, just how that transferred and moved forward. So it was it was a cool transition to be here for and to see.
You saw plenty of action as a rookie, but like we hit on, you were a little unheralded guy early on. Do you remember anything specific with your approach that allowed you to grab hold of the starting job in 2019?
I just came with the same mindset that I did, my junior and senior year of college. Just come in, do my best, be the best version of myself. Because, when you start comparing yourself to other people, you start, well, this guy does this and that guy does that. You're just putting yourself in a hole. All you can control is what you can control, and you try to maximize your positives and minimize your negatives. I think I did a decent job and showed enough potential to get the nod, and then hopefully, I just continue to grow from there and just continue to show that I belong on the field and that I belong in this league. I'm honored to be a part of this team and to have the teammates that I have and the coaching staff that I have. It's been a great 3 years for me here in Baltimore, and we love it here, and it's been great. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a really impressive story of you kind of coming into the lineup, and it's a really unconventional offense. If you had to sum up for idiots like us or just like the regular fan what it's like to play offensive line in Greg Roman's scheme, how would you sum it up?
It's physical. It's demanding. It's, a lot of knowledge-based work. It's about being your playbook. It's about being just on top of the game, because, it's just so all-encompassing as far as, the physicality of what we play with. And then at the same time, still having to know, when the backers flow, you have to either transition or let those guys go and move to the next spot. It's kind of an all-inclusive deal, but, it's a great offense to play in. It's so much fun. You kind of do a little bit of everything. And we have such great players to be able to execute that. And it makes it a lot of fun, especially having Lamar back there behind you, just trying to making you right and making you look good. So yeah, it's just been, this offense is such a great offense to play in as offensive lineman.
All right, this is one of my favorite questions to ask everybody that hops on here. It's what's one piece of advice you'd give to some of the younger guys, or you would give to yourself as you were first starting, when you first became a Baltimore Raven all those years ago? What's the advice you give to Tyree and Bredesen that would have helped you when you were in the spot that they're in?
So I'm going to kind of break that up. So I would say for, your college, your high school level, I would say take advantage of every single opportunity that you're given. Every opportunity that you get to step on the field, every opportunity you get to be involved in something, just take advantage of it and live it to its fullest. Put everything you have into it, because you don't know the next time you're gonna be able to step on that field. For a lot of high school teams, I know, especially here in Maryland, they're seniors that aren't going to be able to step on the field this year. They're not going to be able to have that opportunity to show what they have their last year. And it breaks my heart, and it's sad, and I feel it. I feel for them. I missed my senior year because of a torn ACL. I feel a little bit about what what they're going through, but just take advantage of every single opportunity that you can. And then, for the guys like Tyree, the guys like Ben Bredesen, Tristan, whoever it may be, is, take advantage of your opportunities, but then just put in the work now, put in the work now, and reap your rewards later. Because, that's what it is. You just have to take advantage of all of that.
Yeah. And I mean, looking at those guys that you just mentioned, and then looking at you, I mean, it's pretty clear that the Ravens are good at taking unheralded guys at the position and developing them really well. Is there one specific thing you could point to that, Coach D'Alessandris does, or that the Ravens do specifically that allows them to kind of develop these unheralded offensive linemen in the way that they do?
I think one of the best things that we do, that the upstairs does, as far as evaluating players, is taking into effect their character. We have a lot of very high character players on our team, guys that work hard, guys that will put it all on the line. All those rookies that I named, I know I'm missing some, but they all just put it out on the line every single day. They bust their butt. They do the right things. And that just speaks to their character and to who they are as people. I just think that's one of the biggest things that we do so well, because it makes it such a great atmosphere, such a great, place to play, when you have a lot of high character guys working together, trying to get to the same goal. No one has huge egos. No one's, gonna explode because a coach yelled at them or whatever it may be. It's just a testament to them and to going after those high character guys.
Now, jumping to that 2019 season, it was such a whirlwind, and you obviously had a front row seat to all of it. How would you compare the atmosphere in the locker room this year against last year, if there's been a change?
There hasn't been much of a change. Obviously having to have your mask on, having to have all the plexiglass. It kind of is what it is. But you still communicate, you still have fun. It's still a great environment. It's a great play. After practice, coming in, talking, hanging out before practice, whatever it is. As long as we're social distancing and doing the right things to be able to have a successful season this year, it doesn't really. All the plexiglass and masks don't really affect me that much.
It's definitely weird, and it's been weird for everyone. And just looking at where this team is right now compared to where they were last year, there is some interesting comparisons and some interesting differences as well. You guys, as an offense, are playing really well, and we do take up for you, and that shows in points, that shows in a lot of different things, but especially in wins. But, there's been some criticism about, I think, mainly consistency. If you could kind of sum up why you think people are coming at you guys a little bit for some of the consistency or some of the other issues, how would you sum up sort of what the issues are in your mind and what you think you guys need to do to really get things rolling again?
We're still coming to our own. We're still climbing that mountain right now. I don't think we have even came close to the peak of what we can do yet, and I see that as a positive. You never want to peak too early, and I think our offense is really starting to come into their own now. Just look at the Colts game. We came out flat. We didn't play worth a crap, to be honest, in the first half. And then the second half, we came out like a completely different team. Came out and, ran the ball. We threw the ball. We did what we had to do to get the win. I see a lot of promising things in our offense, especially, with the transition of new offensive linemen coming in, changing the offensive line around, people being down, people being, back, up and down, whatever it may be. But I see a lot of potential in this offense to continue to grow and to continue to get better as the season trucks along.
I got a couple random ones to throw at you here. Marshall Yanda obviously retired this past offseason. What's the biggest difference you've noticed without having him around?
Marshall was such a great leader. He was such a great guy to strive to be. I've said this in past interviews, but, I've never really strived to be like someone, at least on the football field, like I have to be Marshall. Marshall came in, he worked his butt off every single day. He did the right things. He continued to strive to just be better and better as the days and weeks went on. Just to see him fired up before game, at 32, 33, 12, 13 years into the league, it fired me up. It's like, man, if he can get fired up for the game, being in it so long, doing it for so long, I can get fired up too. And it's just he was just such a great leader and just a great man, just on and off the field. So, definitely miss him around the locker room. Just a guy like that he's hard to replace. He's a hard guy to replace. And, we got a lot of guys trying to fill those shoes and trying just to pick up the slack that he left. And, it kind of, I hate that he retired. I wish he would have gave us a few more years, but I completely respect and honor what he, that he decided to retire. I'm happy for him. He's like 230 pounds. He's like like an outside linebacker in that size now. So
who's the funniest dude on the offensive line? And you can say yourself.
funny, probably DJ. DJ Fluker's probably one of the funniest. He's got a lot of stories, a lot of really good stories. But yeah, I would definitely say he would have to be one of the funniest guys in the offensive line for sure. Him or Orlando. Orlando's got some good stories too.
What's your best Fluker story if you got one?
Best Fluker story. I don't really know. Y'all are gonna have to get him on here and let him tell some of them because they're hilarious. And then Orlando's impressions are something else. Now his impressions are spot on everyone he does. It's pretty funny, but you'd have to get him to do some of them.
All right, if we can't get a Fluker story, we can't get some Orlando Brown impressions. Do you have any Nick Saban stories for us?
Please.
Nick Saban. Oh yeah, I got a good one for you.
Oh, there we go.
So J.K. Scott, he's punter for the Packers now. So he was, he kind of did as he wanted to. He was one of the best punters in our in college football at the time, but kind of kicked and did as he wanted to. And I think we had one day a week that was punt day. And JK comes out, we're standing around and he walks over to Coach Saban. They started punting. So they started punting. And Coach Saban asked, he goes, JK, why aren't you in there? He goes, Coach, my knee's kind of bothering me a little bit today. I think there's a little bit of tendonitis. He goes, well, JK, my ass hurts every day and I still like it. So everyone just was cackling, laughing, and he got in there and punted too. So it was a funny day there, not for JK, but for the rest of us.
Oh, that's awesome.
How far did he get it down there? You said he punted it?
Do what?
Did you say Nick punted it or JK did?
No, JK punted it.
God,
JK was punting.
You just gave me a mental image of Nick Saban running out onto the field and punting for JK Scott to prove a point. So, that made my day, just the idea of it. But, closing you out here, man. Really appreciate your time. Last question we had for you. I just wanted you to sum up a little bit the whole experience that you had with Mo Gaba. I know you were pretty involved with him and through the help of the friend of the program, Barstool RDT. You guys did some really great work for him. So just kind of sum up what Mo meant to you and like all the stuff that the Ravens are currently doing for him right now, kind of that whole experience and the impact it's had on you.
Mo was bonded from a very young age. He never really got to see many things, but I always say that Mo had the best vision out of anyone I've ever met. Mo saw the good in everything. No matter how bad his day was, he was making other people smile. Mo was a truly, truly special young man, and we miss him every day, and still in our prayers, and we know he's up in heaven, and just looking down on us and seeing us play football and everything else. But I think it's really special what the Ravens and the Orioles and everyone has been able to do in this community for him and his family, and the legacy that he has left is tremendous, and I will never forget that. I just think that young man was so special and just so electric, and it was when he passed was a very, very sad day in our community and in the Bozeman family, and we think about their family, continue to keep them in our prayers, and just wish nothing but the best. But
yeah, man, it's great stuff that you did for them, and we really appreciate that. It was pretty big for the community and for a fan base that I think really rallied behind the little guy, and just an awesome story. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming on here, man, giving us a nice 20 minutes. We really appreciate it on your day off here, and thanks again, and good luck this weekend. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Take care.